Hello, and welcome to the Collapse Experiment. The cult of convenience. It's that thing that seems to be destroying society. And earlier today, I heard somebody on YouTube that was talking about this thing that they noticed over the holidays. Everything was about convenience. Even her exes came around because it's easier to go back to somebody you've already been with than to find somebody new. It's convenient. I noticed this 20 some years ago where I couldn't understand why some of the guys I would hang out with would go to a convenience store when it's overpriced and you can get better quality stuff at a better price going to the regular supermarket, or otherwise known as planning ahead. So these guys who didn't make any more money than I did, who also worked crap jobs, making, it would have been what, $5.15 an hour, maybe $6 if they'd been there a while, are going to the local 7-Eleven and paying twice as much for something as it would cost if you went down to the local supermarket. So we would go into these convenience stores and I wouldn't buy anything. You're like, what? You're not getting anything? No. Why? I'm like, everything's too expensive. It's about convenience. Obviously, the cult had gotten to them. But it's not the only thing that's convenient these days. Everything is convenient. Even job hiring has become convenient. Websites. You put your resume on a website. The website tells the potential employer, hey, we have somebody who might fit the job. So instead of them posting the job and seeking out people, they have other people doing it for them. And these days, AI is going to be taking over that because it's convenient. Amazon has made everything really, really convenient. And one thing I really can't stand is the fact that people are now buying things like shoes. Clothes I can understand. As long as it's made in America, you've got your uniform size, right? If you wear a size large, you can just buy a large shirt. If you know your measurements, you're fine. Get into European stuff, forget it. But shoes. Shoes are one of those things I won't mess with. But it's convenient to find the color and the make and model and everything that you want online and just order it. Then it comes in, oh, why is it squeezing my foot here? And I don't like how it rubs there. It's uncomfortable. Well, now you have the inconvenience of having to send it back just to get your refund. So, our society, everything is about convenience, and that also leads to relationships. Or as I like to call them these days, relationships. Because at the beginning, taking a dump feels good, but at the end, you're just left with a mess. So, when it comes to relationships, it's more convenient because we have an overabundance of people these days, and the majority of people are single. If for whatever reason you don't like the person you're with, you just go and find somebody else. And when it doesn't work out with that one, you find somebody else. It's basically a very long season of Seinfeld. There was always something wrong with the girls that Jerry was dating. And he'd just go find someone else. Why? Because Jerry was an immature child living in a big city with a bunch of other immature people. And nobody had to grow up. And that's what society has turned into. It's just a bunch of immature people living with each other, and they haven't figured out how to become adults. They haven't figured out that the things worth having, you might actually have to work for. They're not just handed to you. This whole culture of people getting these trophies for just showing up, and sometimes they get the trophies for not even showing up. Like, who was the gymnast that had like a mental breakdown when she was competing, and everyone's like, she's so brave? No. The whole point of being an athlete is to perform at your best when you're at the most amount of pressure, mental pressure, physical pressure. That is what makes these athletes who they are. And now all of a sudden we're praising them when they screw up and they just can't handle competing? Are you kidding me? It was more convenient for her to fail her team, and she got praised for it, than it was to actually compete and risk the possibility of not getting a good score. The cult of convenience. It's one of those things I wish would just go away. I wish we didn't have convenience stores. I wish it wasn't so easy to just find stuff online. Or people. It's really convenient to just find somebody new. Well, I think that's about it for me today on this topic. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna add a link to the other girl's video because, she touched on a few things that I might not have talked about here. Found it interesting though, when she was talking about like even her exes started to contact her because it was New Year's and nobody wants to be alone on New Year's. Heaven forbid, trying to meet somebody new. Fascinating. Keep on typing.